Welcome back, Eden Zero fans. This is Suave, and today we're going to be starting off Eden's Zero Volume 9. And man, I thought things were popping off like crazy in the Sonjul arc. This volume, out of nowhere, things started popping off like crazy. So we're going to just go ahead and get right to it. So without further ado, let's begin. Chapter 69, Rebecca's Nightmare. We got Homura here. It looks like she's training here with her sword in front of like a little dojo place. It's really cool, really simplistic. Not too much going on here. Let's go ahead and move on with the story. Okay, so things start off pretty simple, right? So Rebecca's here, she's explaining her ether gear ability to everybody, and then we switch off over to Witch, and she's trying to explain to Homura everything that Valkyrie was sort of responsible for, all the different weapons that are on the ship, and then we get over to that vault that I was talking about, that code 3173 vault, and we get a whole name drop, Etherion. So Etherion is one of those sort of recurring themes that Mashima likes to use in this series. We saw it over in Fairy Tail. I believe it was like some square satellite weapon or something like that. And I remember clearly all the way back in Rave Master, we had our main protagonist, Ellie. She was the one who wielded Etherion. She had like a hidden power within her. And eventually she was able to use that power to control it. And the one thing that really strikes me through with Ellie is that here in the vault, someone reminded me that the 3173 was actually the same numbers that were tattooed on Ellie, because if you take the numbers 3173, flip it upside down, it spells out Ellie, and that was like the whole mystery behind Rave Master. So I'm really curious now what's behind this vault. Are we gonna get like some sort of android version that looks like Ellie or something like that? But regardless, something powerful is behind this thing, because you don't just name something Etherion and it's just some little thing. No, if you name something Etherion in the Mashima verse, this is something that's going to be a crazy destructive weapon, something like that. But unfortunately, we don't get to find out what is behind this door, because remember, Homura is someone who is not able to really keep a secret, and so Witch is like, okay, if you're not able to keep a secret, then I won't tell you, because nobody in this crew, not even Shiki, is supposed to know what this is except for the 4 shining stars. So we have this little odd scene where I think Mashima is just planting seeds for the future. We got Rebecca, she's here taking a bath, and she sort of drifts asleep. And then we see this little dream sequence that she's in. She's sort of living it through. It almost feels very realistic to her. For some reason, it looks like she's in the middle of a battlefield with Shiki. He looks a little different too. Like his hair's all grown out a little. Maybe he looks a little older. So the odd thing about this dream is that Shiki is telling Rebecca she needs to shoot down these robots quickly, but she doesn't have Happy with her. And Shiki's sort of confused, like, Happy, what does he have to do with this? He's already dead. And, you know, she's kind of astounded by this, not really knowing how to comprehend this. And then that's when she finally wakes up from the dream. But it wasn't even that long that Rebecca was out cold. She was only out for about an hour, according to Sister. And during that whole hour, we have Shiki, Homura, Weiss, and Pino. They all decided to go infiltrate this space fortress and see why they're being chased down. And Rebecca's not really too happy about this. She wants to go out there because she's a fighter too, and she starts getting ready to go out there. So we're going to see what happens in the next chapter. Chapter 70, Belial Goer. We got an awesome double spread here. They're all floating out in space, doing their own abilities. And we got Hermit in the background. We got Sister down the top right. And I think that's, yeah, it's Witch down in the top left. And we even got Moscow down there. So we got the whole gang being really cool and happy up here. Alright, so the crew minus Rebecca has managed to infiltrate Belial Goer, and what we find out is that this ship is an entire city itself. When you go in here, it's not just one big ship, it's a whole ecosystem down here. You got these buildings, you got people wanting to just eat out, you got a whole population here. Not everybody here is a fighter, they're all just here maybe visiting as tourists, or maybe they even just live here and they're just having a blast. So this next part was actually pretty cool. So everybody's going around searching Belial Goer, and we find this old man coming next to us, and it turns out that he's actually Seabeard, actually an old version of Seabeard, all the way back from, I think it was volume 1, volume 2, something like that. So Seabeard's out here, and we gotta remember this isn't the same Seabeard that we encountered a long time ago, because this is a different timeline. This is a different non-chronophage timeline Seabeard, I guess we can call him. He kind of lived out this future without really messing around with Pino like he did over in Gilst. So we have this old man Seabeard. He's trying to explain to everybody kind of like the lowdown of the whole place and where to drop by if they ever need anything. And what we find out from Weiss is that he actually had help from Seabeard a long time ago. Seabeard was actually a pretty good person. Even though the things that they did were probably gang related, Seabeard was really out there looking after Weiss like one of his own. But of course, things were just a little too calm. We get a little communication here from Drek and Joe himself, saying that they know that the Eden Zero crew is here and they know everything that's going on. And Hermit is trying to communicate with Shiki, and while this is all going down, you get this giant explosion on the Eden Zero ship, and both Hermit and Witch just go flying back. and Rebecca's still on the ship. She's trying to, I guess she was still trying to go over to the planet. So this is all happening really fast. And what we find out is that the 3 members that we saw that were by Draken Joe's side have all infiltrated the Eden Zero ship. And this is going to be some bad news because I don't know how strong these people are. We're going to find out in the next chapter, but pretty much they've been ordered to kill everybody on this ship. Chapter 71, The Steel Sorceress. I love this little cover page because we got Shiki. He's got a cool pilot's outfit on. He's got the goggles, and we have Pino in her cute little helmet. You got the visor and everything. She's pretending like she's riding on the little ship. Yeah, I didn't even notice that you have Weiss there in the background fixing everything. This is a fun little cover page. So things are looking pretty bad, right? So we have 3 intruders on the Eden Zero ship. Most of the gang is down on the fortress, and we have 3 shining stars plus Rebecca and Happy, and I guess Moscow too. They're all up here. And we got Witch talking about some sort of battle dress. We're going to see what that is in just a second. But here's the messed up part. The crew isn't able to communicate with each other right now. So Draken Joe is telling the people that's in the fortress city to not make any sudden moves. Because if you do, we're going to eliminate everybody on that ship. But what the crew doesn't know is that up in that ship, the 3 intruders have been told that they need to kill everybody on sight. So regardless, people are going to die right here, is what we're being told. And so we got these traps all around the ship. They're trying to stop the intruders. And then all of a sudden we get Witch coming out. And she looks a little different. She has what's, I guess this is her battle dress going on. And she's pretty much going on the offensive now. She's pulling up these shields. And she's doing this requip sort of on her battle dress. Now she's sort of this new form called Assault Witch. And things are going to get really crazy right now. Because Assault Witch does not go easy on these intruders. You got one of the gunmen. They're pointing their guns, shooting everything. And all of a sudden she does this ice ether. Freezes the gun solid. So now the gun is basically useless. This other woman, I forget her name, but she's trying to do something with her foot. It looks like she's grabbing one of the tiles from up there and she's swinging it around like a weapon. And Witch is just here using all these different elements. You have air ether for being able to dodge and maneuver around. Then you have electricity ether, and she's just channeling all this crazy electricity on all these fools, and they just really drop like flies one by one. And we get this awesome double spread where we get to know the real name of Witch when she's in this form, and that is the Steel Sorceress. So fortunately, Witch was able to make quick work of these fools, and now the communications are back online between the teams. Everybody knows that everybody's safe, and it's time to move forward. But we get this looming darkness in the background with Draken Joe. So Draken Joe has his own special forces. Apparently, those 3 people that we've seen this whole time were really not all that big. The real big people behind Draken Joe's forces are these guys, and they are the Element 4. And I believe the Element 4 is another recurring theme, because we saw that all the way back in Fairy Tail. Near the beginning of the series, we got the Element 4, but now we're getting Eden Zero's version of the Element 4, and these guys look like some crazy trouble, but we'll see what they're all about pretty soon. Chapter 72, The Element 4, and I love this little cover page with Rebecca. She's got her maid's uniform on. It looks like she's still got the cat ears, the cat outfit. Happy's there in his little suit. Looks like we got a top-down view, and I'm not sure what's going on in the background. They're like in a restaurant. I want to say it's probably a diner because you got a little advertisement there in the background with a little chocolate milkshake, and Rebecca's probably here serving people in that outfit and probably recording herself too for her channel. So of the enemies that Witch has defeated, 2 of them were androids, and they self-destructed as soon as they were defeated. I guess they were programmed that way. So we have 1 person in custody that Sister is about to interrogate. And what we find out is that Draken Joe's putting up all these images all over town, and it is the images of Pino, Homura, Shiki, and Weiss. And so everybody knows what they look like. And Draken Joe is telling them, if you bring me their bodies or their heads or whatever, you capture these people for me, I will pretty much guarantee that I will remove all debts that you have for me. And everybody in this town is probably a gambling addict, or they probably asked for Draken Joe for money at some point. So that is pretty much a sweet deal for everybody. The moment they spot the gang, they all start running after them. So everybody's just trying to run over to safety. And eventually they make it over to the riverbank, and Weiss actually pulls out a cool little app on his phone or some sort of device, and it's something that's able to make people disguise themselves, sort of like the same technology where you're able to re-equip yourself with a different outfit over in the ship, but at the same time it's kind of like a digitalis thing too. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a hologram. It's kind of like a hologram disguise on top of you. So you have here Weiss, he's dressing up as that same tan girl that he was on Digitalis. Shiki's some greaser looking dude. Pino is in her human form that she loved wearing when she was on Digitalis. And we got Homura in this the most embarrassing outfit for her this whole time. She's trying to cover herself up because she's just showing off too much skin. So eventually she takes the device over from Weiss, like, let me get this outfit for me. And she looks like a very nice, neat, and attractive noble woman. So it's a really nice look on her. However, everything gets interrupted pretty quickly. Shiki is over here. He's crying because Pino is enjoying her little form that she has. He's really happy for her. Unfortunately, these tears are her weakness according to this one guy, and it's one of the guys that are from the Element 4 from Dragon Joe. We find out that he is the spirit of water. His name is Laguna, and he is here to pretty much destroy everybody in the crew. So we're going to see what happens in the next chapter. Chapter 73, Don't Shed a Tear. We have Happy and Pino. It looks like they're both playing a little fighting game on the screen here. Nothing too crazy going on, but it's a fun little cover page nonetheless. Okay, so things happen pretty quickly. So Shiki ended up crying, and this Laguna guy came out of the riverbank, and Shiki just turned into a puddle of water. We're not really sure why, but it probably has something to do with this Laguna dude being the spirit of water, and he wants to make these people cry. Apparently, if you make people cry, he can turn you into a puddle of water. We're just gonna go with it. So Pino ends up crying because she doesn't know what's going on with her master, with Shiki. So Laguna pretty much takes out Pino just like that. And unfortunately, Weiss goes down pretty fast too, because it looks like these little stilettos that he's wearing pretty much punctures Weiss right in the feet, and it makes him cry of pain. So now he's been turned into a little puddle. So then all we have left is Homura. And Homura is trying her best not to make herself cry. She is over here trying to do battle with him. He brings out a water sword, and they're just duking it out like crazy. And he's trying to make her cry. He's trying to do a little soppy sad story. He's trying to do anything that it takes in order to make Homura cry. And he brings out the last resort. He tries to make her yawn. And then out of nowhere, while she's distracted, he pulls out a little onion. And she's like, this is the most dirty trick you can pull off. And unfortunately, she does end up crying, and she turns into a puddle. And so that's pretty much it for the crew, or at least that's what we think, because it turns out that Weiss has not been turned into a puddle. He was actually using his app to make it look like he turned into a puddle, when in reality he was actually hiding out somewhere else and made the avatar look like he was turning into a puddle, and then he was pretty much hanging out in the background. So it's up to Weiss to save the day, and now he brings out his best weapon, that's Arsenal. So Arsenal is all suited up. I'm sure he's going to bring his cheesy lines over too, and he's going to start doing battle with Laguna. So this is going to be awesome. We're going to continue on to the next video, so be sure to look out for that later this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Post your comments down below, and if you like this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. We will be finishing out this video later this week. With that being said, I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.